What's going on, great friends? It is Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. For most people, it is Humpback Wednesday. All right. I mean, if you worked Monday through Friday, today is Humpback Wednesday. But for the J and Trey podcast, it is our Monday. We go 5 days a week. We got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 a.m. to noon. Now, I understand. Listen, it's been we're a little behind schedule, little lot of things going on. And I'll explain to that in a minute. But then we go on Saturday and Sunday from 10 p.m. to midnight. So it is our Monday, wherever you guys are listening from. But it is, for most people, Humpback Wednesday. So happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope everyone's doing good. Let's do what we do best. We got to get started by giving our thanks. Let's give a quick shout out to StreamYard. All right, StreamYard is the home studio for the J and Trey podcast. Now, we have tried, I have looked, I have done extent research on OBS, on Streamlabs, and some of these other studios. I've even tried YouTube studios. And I can tell you this, StreamYard is made simple. I wanted something nice, easy, and simple for us to use. Something that wasn't overcomplicated, that all you had to do with simple clicks of a button was get started. And StreamYard has been the proud home that the J and J Talk Show used, that the J and Trey podcast used for since day one. All right. So if you guys are also looking to get into podcasting, YouTube vlogging, all right, whether you guys are also maybe a business meeting and you guys are looking to make this a virtual business, StreamYard is the place to go. It's affordable, it's cheap, it's a click of a button, you can start streaming that same day. So I recommend StreamYard. Head on over to StreamYard.com for more information. I also want to give a shout out to Place It. All right. Our logos, okay, from the J&J Talk Show to the TNC Sports Talk to the J and Trey podcast. Place It creates our logos, and it's a simple product to use, simple web browser. You go on, you make your account, yet again, very affordable, okay, and they have a whole bunch of great templates. Our intro videos, our logos, they create mock-ups for merchandise. Places by Envato. Head on over to placeit.net and give them a shout out and try. Also, another recommendation, if you are making videos, you guys want to make countdown videos and whatnot for your stream, Canva has worked really well for us. Now, I'm a cheap guy. I'm also a guy to cut some corners, kind of work smarter, not harder. So when it comes down to Canva, yeah, the product that you're seeing that we provide probably isn't the greatest, but for doing it within maybe an hour is not too bad. So canva.com, give them a shout out and try. Also, I would like to give a big shout out to Epidemic Sounds. They are royalty-free music, and they license all the music that you listen here on Epidemic Sound. Now, yeah, we played in the past Spotify music. We have played in the past, YouTube videos, and all I can say is not every single one of them worked well. So, in order to avoid copyright issues and all that fun stuff, Epidemic Sounds license them, and they allow us to use them. So, if you guys are also looking for the right music for your social media, okay, you want to discover these new world-class artists, composers, and bands, Epidemic Sounds the way to go. Go give them a free try. Also, last but not least, Stream Elements. All right, listen. Yet again, I came up with my partner Justin back in October. I was like, thinking one day, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we had a T-shirt to market our stuff, something that we could wear on our backs that we could provide to our fans, to people who listen to us as we grow. And Stream Elements came across Stream Elements. Now I know that they deal with Discord, Twitch, and OBS studios, but Stream Elements was free. It was easy to create. All I had to do was upload a logo. They gave me the templates to use, and within an hour or two, I had everything done. And I was actually at work the other day, and I was wearing one of my merchandise shirts, and I had a colleague of mine come up to me. I was like, he's like, "What is that?" I was like, "That's the TNC Sports Talk." What is that? Never heard of it. Well, I mean, it's our talk. It's my talk show. It's my podcast that I put on. Really? Where can I listen? What do you guys talk about? We talk about wrestling, football, baseball, basketball, or just another sports conversation that we provide. Oh, cool. Well, what can I check you guys out? Well, and I just gave him the information, and we went back and forth. And I don't know where he's at today, if he's listened to our content or not, but I thought that was really cool. And that was because I was wearing one of our merchandise shirts. So I thought that was really neat. And it's very simple. They once you hit publish, all right, all you got to do is send people to your domain, and I'll share you our domain here in a moment. But all they do is they shop on that domain, and Stream Elements does the rest. They take the order, they fulfill the order, they make the items to order, and then they send them out to the customer, and then you get your profits instead of you having to press print all your stuff on on your items, order them in, and then now you have all this merchandise sitting around. You're hoping that it sells, and I'm like, that just cuts out the middleman. So that is our giving thanks to what makes this show possible. All right. We got 2 hours for you today. All right. Trey is not here. He's normally not here during the weekdays, early in the mornings. And that there's a good reason for that. Jake is going to be absent today as well. So you just got my pretty face for 2 hours. We got a little late start, so I apologize. And we're going to kind of stretch it out because the idea that I had planned was not meant for a solo act. So you guys sit tight, stay tuned, and let's get started right here on the J Trey Podcast. What's going on, great friends? Welcome to the J Trey Podcast. All right, on this Wednesday, January the 5th of 2022, we got to start off a wonderful week and a wonderful 2 hours for you guys. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we had Trey doesn't normally do our shows during the week. Now, he will make appearances here and there early in the mornings, but mornings isn't his gig. And that's fine by me. I'm not. We're not. We're not complaining about it. If he could show up, he could show up. Great. Jake was supposed to be on our show. He was actually scheduled. As a matter of fact, he reached out to me and he was actually very excited because we have is Wrestle Kingdom pay-per-view, night one of a 2-night episode, starting tonight. Now I don't know much about Wrestle Kingdom and what's going on. And he texted me some matches. And I want to be honest with you, I may just steer away from that just because I don't know much about it. I will bring it up, but I will stay away from it because I am running solo today. Yeah, you got to see my pretty face for the entire 2 hours. Okay. So we like to welcome everybody on that is watching us on YouTube, whether this is live, whether it's later down the road. Thank you. Welcome into the StreamYard studio, the home of the J and Trey Podcast. All right. While you're here, I want to, if you guys don't mind, hit that like, share, subscribe button. All right. Like you guys always do. And then also participate. Leave us comments down below. Leave us comments during the show. Interact. I will love to interact with the fans. But to stop everyone right there, I want to make this kind of clear for everyone before we move forward. I love the interaction of anyone who is listening. And if you have a comment, and we try to keep an open mind on different point of views. I will really allow you guys to express freely what you guys feel about a certain subject. I will. But with that being said, there are some guidelines. I've had to do it in the past, and I hate to be the guy that has to do it. But if you come on and you leave a comment on our program about something and you cross that line where you talk about something along politics that doesn't make sense, something along um, anyone who is that's great, fine. I gotta, hey, listen, armchair booking. Thank you for tuning in. You're great on participating. I know you guys do. Um, enjoy your work, but I like you. Thank you for listening to us at work. I actually listen to your podcast at work too. And I'll talk to you guys about you guys here in a second. But, listen, we are a professional and friend family show that we like to provide. And and if you guys can't stay, we want you guys to stay professional and courteous in the comments. We understand that according to guests on our show, um, there may be some words exchanged depending on the scenario of, we had, Taylor Starling. We had King Tyan back on Sunday. Great example. I know his previous rivalry, Juice, was actually commenting down below in our comment section, and I was kind of displaying them up a little bit during our show. And I was like, listen, I was like kind of freely because I know the rival they had, trying not to also tick off, Tyne. But listen, I've had some people leave us comments that weren't too pleasant. I'm like, listen, we're not gonna participate or tolerate any of the, you know, I'm not gonna say it on our show, any of the organizations that are not positive. We are not going to tolerate completely trash talking people. So I ask you guys to comment and participate. I really do. I really want you guys involved. But also, please keep in mind, I need you guys to stay professional, courteous to not only you, to everyone else that's listening. And let's keep this show on a positive vibe moving forward. With that being said, if you guys are not able to watch us on YouTube, all right, because maybe you guys don't have the time of day to turn on your computer or phone or TV and watch us. Head on over to our audio station apps that you can listen to us: Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. And while I'm there, I want to also give a quick shout out and thanks to Podcorn. We use Podcorn as our streaming base to stream out to everyone. So I got a few things. So that's all said and done. Okay. If you guys also want to reach out to us and DM us and follow us on social media, you guys could do so on Facebook at the TNC Sports Talk. You could also listen to us. You could also reach out to us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at TNC Sports Talk. So there's we are all around. We're everywhere. And what I love about our social media pages is that Trey, Jake, and we all participate in our social media. I'm mainly on Facebook. I am just slowly getting into Twitter. I'm not a big social media guy. As a matter of fact, prior to this show, I only had Facebook. Um, and when Trey started promoting us, he got us into Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Um, I started recently getting into Twitter because that's where all the news feeds are happening. Um, I just learned how to retweet, which is just I don't know. I'm not social media savvy here, and I say this as a 26-year-old kid. Um, you know, And I don't really do much TikTok. Now I'll play some videos up there once in a while. I'm hoping to get more involved into TikTok when we go hit 1,000 followers and go live. So if you guys want us to go live on TikTok, hit that 1,000 follower mark so that Trey, Jake, and I could all go live and kind of do some Q&As and kind of give you a little bit more background information. I would love to be able to do a TikTok live while doing the show. I think that would be awesome. So, all right. So listen, it's Wednesday. It's our Monday. And I kind of say we missed a lot of great action. I know that there's things that are coming up, and I will get to that in most likely hour number 2. But yesterday was full of events. Monday was full of events, and it all started back on Saturday. Now, we said back on Sunday that this was going to be a very busy week, and so far it has. And I'll get a little bit more into that why coming up here in our next segment. But I want to talk to you now and kind of give you my thought reaction, because back on Monday was a very good chance that it looks like Ben Roethlisberger's last game at Heinz Stadium. And I'm not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I grew up in San Diego. I grew up off of listening to the Chargers. And up until maybe mid high school, which would be like 2010, about a decade ago, I was not knowledgeable enough about the outside world of football instead of the Chargers. Like, I've heard of Tom Brady and Troy Polamalu and Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. I heard Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Alex Smith, so Drew Brees, so forth. But I was not all the way as knowledgeable as I am today. So when I grew up as a Chargers fan, because that was my home team and that was the only team I really knew, we kind of grew up disliking Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, Tom Brady and the Patriots, Peyton Manning and the Colts. And after being able to grow and know and educate myself on everything that's going on in the NFL, I'm not a Steelers fan, but I have so much respect for Ben Roethlisberger and what he's accomplished. And I got a chance, I got off of work early, at a reasonable time, got a chance to get home, watch the game, and for a actually good day one pay-per-view, and I'll get into that later. Always the key element is to follow up on what is the Raw after. And it was kind of hard to choose Monday Night Raw because it wasn't terrible, or Monday Night Football, aka the last football of the season. Ben Roethlisberger last home game possibility at Heinz Field. And I chose football. Now, I didn't watch the entire game, but man, I tell you, it wasn't that bad of a game. I feel like it was a picture perfect ending to the game. And we want to explain this more throughout the week, and I want to get Jake's and Trey's more talk on this one here. But, listen, it's not over with. Ben has to go back into Baltimore next Sunday or this Sunday and have a chance and win to give themselves a opportunity at a playoff spot. But if this was Ben's ultimate last game at Heinz Stadium, I think this was the perfect way to go out. He got a chance not only to win the game, but you got a chance to, I guess one of his favorite quotes is knee the ball, which is, I guess, listen, victory formation is perfect. The way to end. And I couldn't think of nothing better for Ben Roethlisberger. Now, like I said, not a big fan, but I give the amount of respect to Ben. Now, I mean, here, check this out, because I didn't know this until Monday night when they aired this. The Pittsburgh Steelers has only had zero, matter of fact, right? Had no losing seasons under Ben Roethlisberger. Mike, well, let me rephrase this. I'm actually standing corrected. Um, excuse me. Oh, allergy seasons. It's cold outside. Um, according to Mike Tomlin's career, 15 years coaching, he has had no losing seasons. And Big Ben has only started in 2 games where he knew that he was not going to be in the postseason. So pretty much you're telling me each and every game he played had playoff impactful meaning behind it, which I thought was incredible. And the reason I'm bringing this up, because I mean, I wouldn't say this because I mean, Tom Brady's done that before. I mean, I don't think he's had a losing season. I mean, he hasn't missed the playoffs. He's only missed the playoffs twice. But he hasn't had a losing season in his career. I mean, you think about Bill Belichick having a losing season for the first time last year, since departing with Tom Brady. I just thought that this was a very historical accomplishment for a quarterback who's had to evolve from having probably one of the greatest football teams, arguably in that decade, with everyone that was on the team back in 2008 and 2008 and 2005, winning 2 Super Bowls. And for a Pittsburgh Steelers team that has not made to the playoffs, and as I count, about 7 times, 6, 7 times in Ben Roethlisberger's career, I thought that was pretty amazing. For a guy who was overlooked in the 2003 draft picks because of Eli Manning and his whole controversy now wanting to play for San Diego. I mean, I don't know about you, but if Ben Roethlisberger is ultimately in my top 10, obviously quarterbacks of all time. And if you look at quarterbacks today, you're not considering the ones back in the 90s, 80s, 70s, we're not talking about the Montanas and the Elways. But for me, I know there's people are going to debate about this one, but Ben Roethlisberger is above a guy like Aaron Rodgers, unbelievably, especially growing up. And I've, told you guys, I grew up, been told not to like Ben Roethlisberger, but you can't deny the accomplishments he's had. And the fact that there's been several years as he's had to carry the team where they didn't have anybody on the team. And Pittsburgh is not an easy place to play for. Okay. They have high standards. And you have to, after understanding where Pittsburgh's football, obviously they're not good in baseball. They're okay. They have good years in hockey, but realistically, right now football's the way to go. NFL's the way to go, and there are standards to be kept. Now, hey, Big Ben is also not your mobile quarterback. He is I honestly say stiff quarterback, and being a stiff quarterback, he's more prone to staying in the pocket. Now, he's had his fair share of injuries, but he still accomplished a lot with this team. So, anyways, I want to just kind of give you my sense of Ben Roethlisberger. It kind of, even as a non-Steelers fan, it kind of brought a little bit of tears to my eyes to see and how emotional it was for him out there on the field when he was kind of going around giving everyone high fives and handshakes and whatnot as his possible last game at Hyatt Stadium. Now, I say that because he hasn't officially ended his career yet. He still has one more game at least to play. If he can make it to the playoffs, there are still slight. I don't know, maybe slight possibilities. I don't think so. Making it another home game, but we don't know what next year holds. I know that there's been conversations about other players coming out saying, "Oh, this is not the end of Ben Roethlisberger." We don't know. Maybe he'll be jumping teams. We don't know about that quite yet. But we have, it's been a fun time, in my opinion. So let me know what you guys think about Ben Roethlisberger and his possible final home game of his career. So, all right, listen, I kind of spent a little bit extra time. I want to step away, take a little break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about WWE and talk about day one pay-per-view. I've heard a lot of great stories. The aftermath of Monday Night Raw. What did this possibly lead? I have some valid points I want to kind of make. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back right here on the J Trey Podcast.
I won't make it easy for you now. You got 2 minutes of my time, and I don't really break too easily, but I'm worth it, 'cause I'll slip into your dreams tonight. Oh, so give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind. Just watch me breaking your sweat. You're falling into me, touch me. I swear you would do anything that I want, so keep us awake till the dawn. Baby, feel free. I wanna make you sweat on me. I wanna make you sweat on me. I got you wrapped around my finger, but don't you try to call me tomorrow. There's nothing personal in having a little fun. You wait and see if it's worth your while. So give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind. Just watch me breaking your sweat. You're falling into me, touch me. I swear you would do anything that I want, so keep us awake till the dawn. Baby, feel free. I wanna make you sweat on me. I wanna make you sweat on me. Feel free. I wanna make you sweat on me. Just take a hint, you got a free pass. Oh, try to hide it, but you had me from the get-go. Let me be frank, I'm not that complicated. Gotta get it right now. Yeah, push your limits with you right now.
Already,
Get it right now.
this is the first time
Yeah, push
where I've
your
actually
limits with you
listened to
now.
that commercial break. Now, let me just paint you this image. When I go into Canva and I start making these videos and I start going through the music, you don't get to listen to the entire song. You listen to a clip of the song. And the clip of the song that was provided for me had a positive, great tone. Now, I'm not saying that this was a terrible song to that commercial break, but man, I just listened to that clearly for the first time, and I'm kind of having second thoughts about that specific commercial. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have to go back in and change it. I know Courtney came to me after the show on Sunday night and said, I got some ideas for the commercial breaks. Hey, listen, offer them for me. I don't necessarily have all the time, and I kind of just quickly put stuff together. So, if you got any ideas for commercial breaks, I can't play trailers. We used to, back in November, actually play certain trailers, like for movies that were coming out. We also tried to play WrestleMania. I thought we were doing a due diligence by playing the WrestleMania trailer. and not taking any credit for it. But we learn ourselves the hard way being copyrighted on that, and I'm like, yeah, we're not taking. We're just trying to promote your business. All right, I'm running solo today, which is fine. I'm gonna kind of push through it. Um, you know, Earlier this week, I actually had the honor, and I was actually pretty excited. We're really looking forward to this week to Armchair Booking, which is a other local podcast that we are now friends of, and I listened to, subscribed and listened to it. And they came out last week that they were going to start creating or putting their podcast videos up on YouTube, available for everyone. And they got a chance actually earlier this week to put up a podcast video for their content or that they provided earlier this week. We have, if you guys want, I would really encourage you guys to go reach out and check out Steve Barber and Dwayne Davis over at Armchair Booking. They're available on YouTube. It's called Armchair Booking. They only have one episode up there. You guys can't miss it. I guess they're doing a beard competition. Who could grow the biggest beard? Yeah, it looks great on both of them. But they're also on any streaming services, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, all that stuff. They got merchandise also. Um, you would have to go check out their social media pages at Armchair Booking for more information on that one. They're great guys. They're talking about wrestling all the time. They talked about, they broke down day one pay-per-view back on Monday. And they're going to have NWF's Noah Gabriel and Sinclair Octavius Bentley coming on their show together at once, which is going to be actually fascinating to actually watch. I'm actually intrigued. I've been told, according to them, it's supposed to be happening, I want to say tonight. So I don't know if they're going to have another episode after this week. I sure hope so. But I'm excited because now you have two NWF athletes. They're supposed to go head-to-head battle this Saturday at Mount Oro, and we are not going to go. They're gonna. I know Steve's gonna go, and I'm excited to follow up on that match, see how that goes. I guess Noah and Sinclair has been having a lot of social media battles. It's been getting personal, and so I'm excited for the first and foremost for watching this out. And there's just they're amazing people. Can't wait. I know Steve says he's going to be down there net this Saturday, but next Saturday at the Hit Sports Complex in Covington. So if you guys are in Cincinnati, you guys are in the local area, I would recommend you guys heading on over to nwfwrestling.com and get your tickets available. Like I said, this Saturday they have. Yes, they got it tonight. Yeah, so here we go. We got coming from Armchair Booking. Noah and Sinclair's on tonight, and then they also have a regular show tomorrow. So, oh my goodness! So we're gonna get a lot of content from them. I'm excited. They bring out really nothing but great topics and great opinions. For a guy like me, who kind of gets his creativity while working, because I have to listen to other podcasts. I don't get all the time to follow the news at home. So I actually, probably, I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing, but what I do is while I'm at work, I listen to several other podcasts lined up, or talk shows, radio shows, right? Armchair Bookings on that list. But, and they kind of fill me in. They kind of give me different perspectives. So when we have ideas for this show, some of these ideas are pick and grab and all right, hey, that was a good story. Let me come in and weigh on this situation. Um, Prime example, and I know this is kind of off subject, but at some point, interesting news coming to me. Um, so I just heard this earlier on Monday, and this is way off in left field topic wise, but Phil Nicholson just won or just earned $8 million for having the most activities on social media. And I was like, really? And he collects 4 million up front. In order to collect the other 4 million, he has to go do a tournament that he hasn't been to in a long time. So he's actually getting a trip to go to Malibu to do a kind of low grade, low key PGA tournament. And I'm like, $8 million just to be active on Twitter. That's something impressive. I mean, they kind of fill in bases. But anyways, I listen to Armchair Booking. Okay, I watched them. I didn't listen to them on Monday. I watched them on Monday. They look great. They have a great concept. They're looking to grow. So let's give our support over to Armchair Booking. Go on to Armchair Booking on YouTube and subscribe to their channel. They talked about day one pay-per-view. And I want to kind of touch base with that. I know we talked a little bit about it back on Sunday night. We had a chance to kind of overview everything going on. And I had a chance to kind of think about it, relax, sleep. All right. And I created and listened to some other people, and I was like, I'm putting things together. Now, I didn't realize this. I actually had to go back and re-watch this match or pay-per-view general. Apparently, it was sold out. But the way that I interpreted it, it was, for me, a dead crowd. And I don't know how much that had to do with the control the WWE has over the fans not being able to stand up in the front row or over them controlling the crowd noises. But it doesn't seem like there was a lot of pop behind the crowd and their reactions. And listen, apparently results come back and it's a sold out venue. And I actually have to give a lot of props to the sold out venue. Let's think about this. Wrestling right now is struggling selling out arenas. Even AEW has downgraded their arenas to have more attendance, to kind of feel like it's been packed, and it's still not been packed. WWE has had to use what they call black curtains to kind of shorten the stadium or the arena that they use. I mean, NXT has fans implemented on their Titantron on the back wall as crowd on top of what they normally do, just to make it look like they have a packed house. But I guess apparently in Atlanta, Georgia, on day one pay-per-view, it was actually sold out. And to consider that, hey, it would occupy college football that went on, all New Year's celebration, New Year's Day celebrations and all that stuff, to still be sold out, I thought was something more. And this is a good step. I mean, like I said, wrestling is in a position right now where they are struggling to sell out venues, and this is the way to do it. Okay. So here's my biggest topic of the day. We talk about the purpose of Brock Lesnar winning the WWE Championship off of Big E. And I've had to listen to this from a few other people. And when I listen to this and I hear this back, and I'm like, all right, now it starts making sense to me. A lot of people are kind of frustrated that Big E lost the title, that Brock Lesnar got a chance to get a title match that very same night, and he got and now he's Raw's champion. Here's my thing. I'm looking back and I'm like, man, this is actually really good business for the WWE. Now, for people that aren't aware of or listening to this for the first time and has been living underneath a rock for a while, all right. Back on day one, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar was supposed to do battle, and maybe that was one of the reasons why day one's pay per view was sold out, was because of Brock Lesnar. But Roman Reigns comes down that same day with COVID and was tested positive for COVID, and therefore that match could not take place. And as a free agent that Brock Lesnar is, he decided that he was going or WWE decided that they were going to put him into the Fatal 4-Way match, making it a Fatal 5-Way match. And, here's what all I say on the match. It was not a bad match. Brock Lesnar also took bumps for the right people. And something you don't normally see happen. Okay. I hear a lot of people, Brock Lesnar shouldn't be in it. Brock Lesnar, is just going to run away, not come back for several months. But his performance, people don't like his character now. But I'm telling you, I've had the most fun watching Brock Lesnar be Brock Lesnar than ever before. The last time I can remember him being as loose-fitted as he was today was back in the feud with Eddie Guerrero back in 04? I feel that this is truly a different Brock Lesnar that we're seeing. And he doesn't have to be great at cutting promos, but for the first time I see a smile on his face. I feel like he's enjoying this. He took bumps. He took a spear from Bobby Lashley and sold the spear through the barricade. He sold it. He sold on Kevin Owens. He sold on Seth Rollins. He sold during the match. He actually had fun. He had a smile at the match. He won the title. He had a big smile, grin on his face. I don't know if that's because, he knew that he was going to win the match, and because he's Brock Lesnar, he gets away with a lot of things. But after the match, he took pictures with everybody, with fans. There are Instagram and Twitter pictures of him going down to the after the show, going into the stands, taking pictures with people. For a guy that's painted the image that doesn't like people, doesn't like interaction, doesn't like likes fans, but he doesn't like the whole person to person interaction. He's interacting. And the only thing that I didn't like about this match was Brock Lesnar pinning Big E. Because now you're downgrading Big E. But see, now here's what's going on. Okay. I ask you this one here. Leave me a comment down below or head on over to our social media pages and answer this question. Was Brock Lesnar winning the WWE Championship good for business? Because I think it is. Because now you got two of your top stars. I mean, he's more than a star. You have two of your top stars holding the main title. That's going to get that pop reaction each and every time they come out. And you got Brock Lesnar over on Raw. You got Roman Reigns over on SmackDown. And now you got both of your brands popping and having the number one person hold that title. And as we saw last on Monday night, Bobby Lashley has defeated the three other men to win the number one contender spot. And this is something that we've been wanting to see since 2018. At least Bobby Lashley has been wanting to have this match since 2018. And he's going to get the match at the Royal Rumble. Now, I don't know where this leads to us for WrestleMania, but, there's possibilities. All right. I don't know, right? You talk about Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Well, think about it this way. What happens if night one ends off of Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, and then night two, you get The Rock and Roman Reigns? Just spitballing there. Think about that. Would that be, do you think WWE will have, or Vince McMahon will have trouble selling out WrestleMania both nights? Considering that's 100,000 people he would have to sell tickets to for both nights. Do you think that would be something that could happen if those were the two main events, and then you do whatever you want with the women's division? Think about that for a second. I like that idea. Because right now we're thinking, okay, what's next for Roman Reigns? Obviously, Brock Lesnar is occupied right now on Raw. And he's over there dealing with Bobby Lashley now. Now it's interesting because Brock Lesnar quoted, instead of acknowledging Bobby Lashley, okay, during the after Bobby Lashley won, he said, "Hey, I'm going to be on SmackDown, and Roman Reigns can guarantee it." So now Brock Lesnar is going back and forth. Don't forget, he's still a free agent. He's not tied down to one brand. He will be on. He quoted that he will be on SmackDown this Friday night to address Roman Reigns. I don't think the feud's done. Which, it's great to. Listen, I don't know where the feud was going to go afterwards, but I'll tell you this: I sure hope WWE doesn't ruin this by the Royal Rumble. Think about what's next. I sure hope. I was just kind of just thinking about the ideas and the possibilities. Could we see Brock Lesnar compete in two matches? Maybe Brock Lesnar is not done with Roman Reigns. Maybe he still wants the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns, and so maybe, just maybe, Brock maybe has two matches at the Rumble. One against Bobby Lashley, one against Roman Reigns. I don't know. But if I'm the WWE, the clear path that I'm seeing, the perfect path that I'm seeing is Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley at Mania on night one. And then whoever wins the Royal Rumble match will face Roman Reigns at Mania night 2. And if you can get The Rock, I don't know how, maybe you could get The Rock to attend. I would love to see both of them. That would be selling out crowds to me. Perfect dream matches, right? I guess it's dream matches, but you think about the WWE, the state it's been over the last few years, where it's headed. This will be a huge momentum. Now, there's been reports that that Big E was supposed to retain the title, that Bobby Lashley was supposed to win the title, that Seth Rollins could have won the title, or it should have went down to Kevin Owens for, hey, thank you for re-signing with the WWE. Here's the WWE Championship. Whatever, obviously things change, and it does suck. I think it sucks. I think it undervalues everyone, because what's the deal with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins? Maybe they go into a tag team, division, which right now tag teams division has kind of been sore. They, I don't know, or maybe they could lead up a match themselves. What does this really? But I guess the bigger question is what does this really do for Big E? Because he got pinned on day one by Brock Lesnar. Well, first he came out fourth, didn't come out fifth, which was a big disrespect to the champion. And now he also lost in the Fatal 4-Way. And I kind of feel that, maybe the fans weren't getting all the way behind Big E. But I feel, and I'll tell you this before we step away, I feel that is because the WWE has lacked tremendously on building star power. And when I say that, it is that a lot of these athletes today are not built up the same way that they used to be 15 years ago. You got Roman Reigns built up great. Seth Rollins is getting built up okay. Drew McIntyre's there, but there's still a handful of guys down there that are not being used properly and that are not getting built properly. I don't know. What's your opinion? What do you guys think? I think that this is a perfect thing that the WWE did. I think this was a blessing in disguise that Brock Lesnar won this WWE Championship, because now there's lines that are set for WrestleMania that gives you the ability to have a knockoff show, especially if there's 2 nights of it. And it starts now. The road to WrestleMania starts now. So I do want to ask, I mean, I think this is where the frustrating parts of doing the show solo alone, because this is when I want Jake and I want Trey's opinion to weigh in on this matter. But this is where I stand. This is where I stand and I look at things. I may be wrong. It may be completely different by the time we get to Mania. Obviously, we still have the Royal Rumble match, which would have to account for something. But, I mean, why not? Why not? You know, I was listening to Busted Open Podcast. I was listening to Enzo Amore. Yeah, man. He kind of bleeds my ears each time I hear him cut his own promo. But you know what? He's definitely a successful person. I just want to kind of give a big promote and shout out to WrestleFest out in New Jersey, New York. Okay. We have on Saturday, January 22nd, Enzo and Bully Ray will take on Adam Shear and Redbeard Eric Rowan at WrestleFest. It's at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, 7 p.m. You'll see the Lucha Bros, Thunder Rosa, Eddie Kingston, so much more. Head on over to northeastwrestling.com for more information. You guys are in New York. You guys have got nothing to do in the cold. Go check out Enzo Amore and Bully Ray teaming up for the very first time to take on Adam Shear, a.k.a. Braun Strowman, a.k.a. Titan, and Eric Rowan, a.k.a. Redbeard. Enzo thinks that he could win. He says that Eric Rowan and Adam fear him. Yeah. Enzo, such a character. Great that he's doing a great job in life. Has every Friday, I guess he's dropping a new single. All right, when we come back, we still got AEW Dynamite tonight. Got 3 matches for you. Kind of want to talk about that. Also, NXT new champion crowned last night. I want to talk a little bit about that. I actually stood up because I got home, had to go home, cook dinner. Actually only stayed up to watch the match between Braun Breaker and Tommaso Champa. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Stay tuned right here on the J Trey Podcast.
energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this is 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Yeah. One step forward, 2 steps backwards, yeah. Immature lover who don't use big words, yeah. I don't need convincing at all because I know what I want.
Alrighty. Well, listen, we thank everyone who's tuning in to us. It's kind of been a different dynamic, I put the show together, yesterday, and when things just don't come as planned, and it's no one's fault, not things come up, I'm gonna have I don't know about the status tomorrow because I got my daughter's doctor's appointment at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was like, listen, you gotta make sure you schedule these appointments on Mondays and Tuesdays, but it is what it is, so plus, and then I go into work afterwards myself, and I I was listening to Armchair Bookings podcast, and Steve mentioned this, and I get it. It's going to be a challenge, 5 days a week. And I had these, we had this all mapped out and planned. I had to change some things because Jake wanted to talk about Wrestle Kingdom. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know really much about Wrestle Kingdom. He showed me some matches that were set to take place at Wrestle Kingdom here, which is night 1. Well, I mean, I guess the thing that tonight's night 2. Yesterday was night 1, from my understanding. And I'm just gonna, you have IWGP's Junior Heavyweight Championship. You have El Desperado taking on Hiromu Takahashi. Listen, I apologize if I butchered the names. That was last night. Last night was also Shingo Takagi versus Kazuchika Okada, if I say that right, for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. That was last night. Apparently it's 2 nights. I don't know what else is going on tonight. So I apologize. I got to have Jake back, and he'll be able to talk more to you guys about that. But so that's it. I'm trying to cover things that are more, I guess, impelling to my better nature, being able to do all this. A little bit more information about Toni Storm while we're in the news. Kind of want to just give you guys a tweet of what the quotes of what she said. And I quote, WWE has been very high demanding. I miss my cousin's wedding, Christmas, my nephew's circumcision, and my father's intervention. I come to realize me dream of a WWE star is nothing more than sacrificing my time just to put over some bitch that really feels we must bow down to her, not just in the ring, but off camera. Perhaps I should go somewhere else where I can make more of an impact. End quote. That was from Tony Storm earlier this week, opening up about her WWE uh, release, I guess, whatever you guys want to consider it. Um, listen, I think that's a fair statement to say. Um, Obviously, there are people that believe that they're bigger than WWE. That they want more attention, and well, I don't know if you always get that. Also, something else I saw on Twitter, uh, they're promoting Alexis Bliss's return next Monday night. Now, I don't know if she's gonna keep the same character that she did prior to leaving, but I also want to, I kind of feel like, this is where social media kind of gets in the way of things. And this is where I don't like social media because I really, a perfect way for Alexa Bliss to return for me, if she was going to keep the same gimmick and the same character, and according to the pictures, that's what it is, right? They're promoting it with her that way. But if for me, I would have just wanted her to show up, and I really thought a great way to show up will be against Becky Lynch last on Monday Night Raw, because right now there's really not many more people in that locker room that Becky Lynch can face, and that's gonna give you an interesting storyline to tell. Alexa Bliss is perfect for that, and if I'm hoping for a fatal 4-way match at Mania for the SmackDown Women's Championship and have Becky Lynch participate in that one with the Four Horsewomen with Bayley and Sasha Banks. And if that's to happen, I kind of feel like you need the Raw Women's Championship off of Becky Lynch to do so. I don't know. I'm just spitballing there. I want to congratulate Jake Atlas for being a new All Elite member. Okay. I want to do congratulate Pittsburgh's Cameron Hayward for to be nominee of Walter Payton's Man of the Year. Kind of just scrolling through Twitter. See a picture of baseball of the Reds, PNC Park. Well, not the Great American Ballpark, but the PNC Power Stack where the towers are. Man, baseball. It sucks. It sucks that that baseball is currently under lockdown. I want to give also some well wishes to Ken Rosenthal, who will be no longer with the MLB network. He did not get a chance to re-sign that contract here in the last couple of days, making him kind of a free agent for news reporting. I know Ken Rosenthal was a big news report. You kind of, I think a lot of this is what happened. This is from what my understanding happened to Ken Rosenthal. I guess he said something about Rob Manfred a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic, actually. And he was, he's never the guy to kind of blow a story out before it's been officially released. And he kind of turned heads back when he released a statement about Rob Manfred back in 2019. And I guess from there he wasn't suspended, but he was taken off of TV for a couple months, and his contract came up, and they decided not to re-sign him. And for me, Ken Rosenthal is probably one of my go-to guys. If I don't hear from Ken Rosenthal, then I know it has not been official in Major League Baseball. And now he's still gonna be working with Fox and ESPN, but to work with the MLB Network, get that in Scoop Cider, I guess it kind of just fills in that purpose that hey, here's that statement. If you go work for a guy, like WWE, you go work as a news reporter, like for the NFL, you kind of have to be cautious about what you say about your higher ups or your bosses, because they could definitely, as much as like this, sports talk is all about wanting to give you the best, product and to give you the best opinion about what's going on out there. It's also yet again deceiving, because you could be taken down at any second. So, um, so I want to wish the best of luck to Ken Rosenthal, and hopefully he sticks around for quite some time. Um, that was just kind of some news impact there, since I learned how to finally retweet information. I know it kind of feels like a dead and a dud show. That's how I feel. I guess that's how I always feel. Because I'm kind of going it off by ear, because changing the format of the show. All right. So listen, NXT 2.0 kicked it off with a bang last night. Now I didn't get a chance to watch the entire show, but we had a lot of great matches. We had the triple threat women's match: Mandy Rhodes, Cora Jade, and Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship. We also saw Carmelo Hayes taking on Roderick Strong. From my understanding, Carmelo won. I will get into that. We'll have to revisit that at a later date. But the main purpose for watching 2.0. Now, I'll tell you this much. New Year's resolution. We never really talked a lot about that. But one of my things that I try to do every year was to be more devoted to watching certain highlight sports. For example, the day one pay-per-view was a great way to kick it off. Number two, I got a chance to watch, was watching Raw after Brock Lesnar becoming new WWE champion, and watching Ben Roethlisberger in the last final home game. Now, I chose Ben because there's always going to be another episode of Raw, but there's not going to be another episode of Ben Roethlisberger at Heinz Stadium. So I chose to watch Ben over Monday Night Raw because of that reason. And my goal was if I couldn't watch the entire NXT, was to watch at least the main event, which would be Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker. Now, this match, we saw this part one a couple months ago, and we knew from day one that Braun Breaker was going to be the new face of NXT 2.0, making the way into that new brand, and we saw that last night. Now, Braun Breaker looks like something else inside that ring. He's doing backflips at the end of matches, like he hasn't had any impact on the fight. And he's always so much up tempo. Now you talk about there's a difference between being physically fit and being physically fit in the ring, and he has both. And normally pro athletes have one or the other. And I tell you, Braun Breaker has both. And coming out last night, kicking down that NXT, breaking that NXT wall, and then having a tremendous match with Tommaso Ciampa. Now it was physical. Um, I had really no complaints over the match. I enjoyed every second of the match, and it ended the way, new year, new champion, new era. We saw the ending of NXT, black and yellow last month, and now we're seeing kind of everyone else getting weighted out. And Braun Breaker makes Tommaso Ciampa tap out. Now, I don't know if Tommaso Ciampa, I guess the only question I would have had was why maybe the ending and Tommaso Ciampa not making him tap out. Instead of a clean pin, instead of a tap out, I would have had just Ciampa pass out. And that way, you kind of still relive, because I don't know what the future is for Tommaso Ciampa. I know that they're starting to weigh out some of the old talent. We've seen Adam Cole, we've seen Kylo O'Reilly, we've seen Bobby Fish. We don't know what Roderick Strong holds in the future. Tommaso Ciampa, what his future is with the company. But I that's the only thing I would progress and complain about is the actual ending to the actual match. Now, afterwards, Tommaso Ciampa gave the nod, the approval, kind of like the passing of the torch. And I kind of have to think about this. Would this be the same thing? I love this storyline better, but I had a question. I guess my question would have been, would this be the same way it would have ended if Samoa Joe was still champion? Try and get this here posted. Um, would because Samoa Joe had the championship and had to vacate it because of injuries. They put it on they put on Tommaso Ciampa, which I thought worked very well. Braun Breaker comes in, builds him up. If Samoa Joe never got hurt, would we saw the same thing? And I guess and I was just thinking about this last night. If Samoa Joe had the title, who would you rather see Braun Breaker defeat? Tommaso Ciampa or Samoa Joe? And I don't think that there was, for me, there's really no argument, but Tommaso Ciampa is the right person. Tommaso Ciampa has been in NXT for a while. He's kind of carried the brand, having great feuds with guys like Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole and so forth. But now we are officially in the new era of NXT 2.0. And it's kind of, I mean, it's bittersweet. We knew that this was coming. But now Braun is not necessarily, I don't know, at least in my eyes, watching it now. I've been out of NXT and watching NXT for quite some time. NXT has not been, or Braun Breaker has not been the biggest. I want to say he's a baby face on this side. I would actually consider, according to the reactions last night, he was actually booed quite more than Tommaso Ciampa was, and I think that's just people sticking, supporting behind the black and yellow brand behind Tommaso Ciampa. But then also what I did see was a video after the fight, or after the match, after NXT went off air, that Rick Steiner came out and congratulated him. Little heart to heart moment there. I liked it. Um, congratulating him on winning the title. So, how long will Braun Breaker hold this NXT Championship? Who is up in the runner's position to face Braun Breaker? Does Tommaso Ciampa get his NXT Championship rematch like WWE? What we have seen, and I mean, this is not a repeat from NXT previously, but it seems like every time a athlete, after holding a title for a significant amount of time, loses the title, especially in NXT, they don't necessarily get that rematch right away. And they either push them forward and have them move on, or they just move on from that. Prime example was when AJ and Omos, they didn't get their rematch right away. Took them actually quite some time when they got their tag rematch. I guess the question is going to be, when does Big E get his title rematch? Doesn't he deserve a rematch? From my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure people will, but if you lose a title one-on-one or in a triple threat match, then how does that even work? Because from my understanding is that if you're in a multi-man match, unless you're the one who gets pinned, then you're not necessarily entitled to a rematch. The rematch clause doesn't take place. Is that true, or is that? I mean, I know if you lose the match one-on-one, you're entitled to one rematch, but you should be that rematch should be the next person in line, or that should be the next title defense. Is that true when it comes to when you're facing multiple people? See, my biggest assumption was that if you didn't get pinned, then you don't get a rematch. But if you get pinned, you get a rematch. I don't know. Someone clarify that for me down in the comments. Let me know. But it doesn't look like, the way that this is set up, Tommaso Ciampa gets a rematch, or is going to have a rematch against Braun Breaker. I guess we will see as NXT progresses. But I thought that, we knew that this was going to happen eventually, where Braun Breaker was going to win this NXT Championship and carry the new 2.0 in the new direction. So congratulations to Braun Breaker. We have a new NXT Championship, and for I guess the one thing that I will say about NXT is that it will always be a developmental division. And no matter how much you build it up, it will always be shot back down because of where it's at. Now, I don't necessarily like it, but that's what has stopped and held you from, competing against, competitors like AEW. I think it was kind of foolish. I mean, I think it was actually great for the time being, but to ever really think that NXT and AEW Dynamite was to go head to head after knowing where AEW lies or NXT lies, and AEW is not a stepping stone, it is the place to be at compared to NXT, where you learn, you come in, you do your work, and then if you make it in the WWE, you get brought up. Gosh. All right. Well, so listen. I think it's time to take another break. Kind of been all over the place. I want to come back in, get our heads on straight. I want to talk to you about tonight, because AEW Dynamite is tonight. We have 3 big matches waiting for you, including a TBS Championship, Women's Championship match that's going to be crowned tonight. Don't go nowhere, right here on the J Trey Podcast.
Speak with clarity. there's too much noise around us. Or maybe it's just me. There's trash in the sea. Yeah, but I'm just too tired to reach it. So speak sincerely. Cause I'm still waiting, yeah, for you to come around and save me. Will you stay with me? I'm lost in America. Will you stay with me now? Cause I'm lost in America. Stay with me. I'm lost in America. Stay with me now. Cause I'm lost in America. So I crawl into the underground to find it hard to breathe. Cause there's too much dust in the air. And we can't reverse the wheel. Cause I found when I've searched around lately, the world seems to be the same. There's only room for the privileged and sacred. Yeah. Oh, and I want to praise that. Yeah. Will you stay with me? I'm lost in America. Will you stay with me now? Cause I'm lost in America. Stay with me. I'm lost in America. Stay with me. Oh, I can't let it take my soul. I can't let him take my soul. Nah, 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 no. Oh, I can't let him take my soul. Nah, 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 no. See, we was cool right before it hit the fence, but it hit the fan when I got him down at the bench. When I took a break, I had to leave and go get cleansed. God forgive me for all my sins. I can't say these cause my last name ain't Kent.
Alrighty.
That's the way he paid the rent. Working on the pole, that's the way she paid the wish. Better watch your soul, cause you know they trying to get it. Yeah.
I think I'm back on the right track here again. All right. So let's get right back down into things here today. We have ourselves a big, impactful AEW Dynamite tonight. First time on TBS. Wrestling is back on TBS tonight. And this is actually going to be a pretty impactful show. Hold on one second. Alrighty. Anyways, we have a very impactful. It's like, I don't know. It's one of those things. I see a comment on YouTube on our comment section. That's like, what does that mean? I have no idea. No idea. I wonder. Sometimes I just wonder. But we have AEW on Dynamite tonight, the first TBS show of the new since I don't know what 20 years. Last time I remember a TBS wrestling event was back with WCW. But maybe I'm wrong. That's the last time I saw one. But the TBS is now holding AEW Dynamite tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. A lot of great matches. We have four main matches, 3 title matches, and I'm going to kind of just go over that list for you and kind of give you guys that preparation for tonight's show. First, starting off with the Brian Pillman Jr. match, taking on Malachi Black. Here's the thing, Trey, you're listening to this episode. I would have to really digress and ask you, I need you to make that phone call and see what the availability is for who that I just mentioned to get on our show. Let's see. Let me see, because you said you could pull some strings with this person, and let's see if you could pull some more strings and get him on our show, because it looks like he's going to have a very big year. Looks like he digresses that this is going to be his year. So let's find out. Let's get him on our show and talk to him about all that fun stuff. All right. So we got Malachi Black taking on Brian Pillman Jr. Also, we have the TNT Tag Team Championships. All right. We have Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus taking on Pinta and Phoenix. And, I've been in and out of AEW the last few weeks. It's been on and off for me. And from my understanding, Pinta and Phoenix has not been on the same pages lately. They're still great tag team, but I also see Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy starting to heat up as well and starting to get on that fire list. So this is going to be a great match. It's going to be interesting because I'm rooting for Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, but I really got a feeling that Pinta and Phoenix will retain the tag team titles. And then we also have the TBS final round of the TBS Women's Championship Tournament. Jade Cargill taking on Ruby Soho. And I think the undefeated Jade Cargill. Now, I think this is a great match for both of them. Ruby Soho really coming up since leaving WWE, has really captured her opportunity and her moment in AEW since her arrival earlier this year, taking on a undefeated Jade Cargill. Now, Jade, she looks amazing. And I gotta, honestly, this sets up, I know I don't want this to, but this sets up for a Jade Cargill to win and capture the TBS, the first ever TBS, the inaugural TBS Women's Championship tonight. I feel like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Hopefully I am completely wrong, but that is where we are headed. I wouldn't be surprised. And then for us, part 2, Hangman Adam Page will defend his title against Bryan Danielson. Now, I have a little bit to say about this match because I wasn't let me gather my thoughts here. Excuse me. It's been a one tough and challenging episode today to kick off. Not kicking off the New Year's correctly here. But let me tell you something about this part 2 match. I don't know about what you guys think, but I didn't want this match. I wanted this match that we saw tonight with Danielson and Hangman to be the first match. Don't get me wrong. A couple weeks ago, when Hangman and Danielson had their first title match with each other, it was a really good match. It went full 60 minutes, and now we will see them have a rematch once again. My question, or my theory or my analytic side of things, say, okay, we're having a match on Dynamite, on TBS. It's great. It's fantastic. It's the way to kick off the new year. But what's in 3 days? or 4 days from now, is the Battle of the Belts. And I don't know any matches that I really don't know. I would actually have to look it up. That's what I'm actually going to do right now. Battle of the Belts match card. Britt Breaker versus Riho. Cody versus Sammy in a rematch. That's kind of the two main highlight matches for the show. I haven't really seen anything else posted. I don't know what else matches posted. Those are the two biggest matches that I've seen on dated for the Battle of the Belts. We'll have to talk about that coming up here later on in the next couple days, getting ready for that pay-per-view. But I would have thought, if I was booking this, here's my thing. And this could still happen. But I would have had that 60-minute bout match that took place, back in December, take place tonight, and then come out and say, hey, there has to be a winner. Now, it could still be tonight. I don't know what's going to come of it, but I think Hangman and Danielson Part 2 takes away from the tournament that AEW has been promoting for the last 2 months between Jade Cargill and Ruby Soho. Jade Cargill and Ruby Soho should be the main event tonight. That's my honest opinion. You guys, AEW has built up for this tournament to crown this first ever women's championship on TBS champion on TBS, which is tonight. And they built up this for like the last 2 months. And I got a feeling like this should be the center of attention. All the other matches should be centered around or be built around this main event match. We just saw Mercedes Martinez enter and debut in AEW last week. It would be nice maybe to have Thunder Rosa and Martinez have a match tonight. When it comes down to to Hangman and Danielson, I would love to see them take their title match to this Saturday's pay-per-view at Battle of the Belts. I would love to see, you think about the concept of the Battle of the Belts. You want everybody that has a belt around them to have a match. That's my opinion. I don't know if I'm correct or not. I think I'm correct, but you guys will let me know. But Hangman and Danielson Part 2, if it's being told tonight, the way I'm telling you guys how it should be going down, it should be a disqualification or a double countout. It shouldn't take 60 minutes. It should take about 15, 20 minutes. And then somebody, I don't know, whoever comes out and says, listen, you guys are going to have your final match on this Saturday, and make some sort of stipulation, whether it's a steel cage, maybe a Hell in a Cell type scenario, or no DQ. Make it where now you can emphasize and promote that Adam Page and Danielson main event this coming up pay-per-view. That's how I would book things. As a matter of fact, Hangman and Danielson for me will be the opening contest for TBS tonight. If you want me to take it a step further, I would have even had Hangman and Danielson tonight, I would have just made part 2 at Battle of the Belts. I would have made tonight openings bout contest, CM Punk versus MJF. Because right now, in this very moment, from my understanding, is that between MJF and CM Punk, the winner of that feud is going to start making their way to Hangman as the next title defense. So that's how I would envision things. I think that having Hangman and Danielson part 2 distracts a little bit and takes away a little bit about the main focus of tonight. The main focus of the tonight is not just about AEW being on TBS. It's about the TBS Women's Championship finals that you've had this tournament for the past 2 months, and you stretched it out. Now we're coming down to a final 2 in Jade Cargill and Ruby Soho. They need to be the center of attention. They need to be the main event. I'm not saying that they're not the main event because I haven't watched it yet and it's not on until tonight, but I'm going to be very disappointed if they are not the main event, and you guys will hear about this tomorrow. Now, I want to hear about good things tomorrow about Dynamite tonight, but we have to get through tonight first. So I don't know what's the plan. If you're asking me, if I was a booker trying to promote and book everything going on in AEW, and they have a lot of the great things going on, I would honestly say Punk MJF tonight in the opening bout, and then I would say Hangman and Danielson could wait until Battle of the Belts because that's the name of the pay-per-view. Now, if it wasn't the name of the pay-per-view, I understand that too. But since you do have Hangman and you do have Danielson tonight, I would honestly tell you there needs to be a no contest. In my opinion, there should be no contest. There should not be a clear winner. There should be a double count out. And then after that match, it needs to be confirmed that they will go into Battle of the Belts this Saturday doing battle one last time. And it will be a no DQ or a false count anywhere match, whatever stipulation. That's how I would put it. You want to watch people to, get people interested. This is how you bind it, because there's only 2 matches that I've seen. I see the Sammy Guevara and the Cody Rhodes rematch, and we'll talk about Battle of the Belts later on this week. But then I also see Britt Baker taking on Riho for the TNT Women's Championship. So, or AEW Women's Championship. So I don't know what the match card looks like officially at this moment for Battle of the Belts, which takes place this Saturday night. But I think it would get much more interesting, and it will get my attention if you have yourself, Hangman and Danielson pushed to Saturday. My opinion, my thoughts. So, anyways, TBS, AEW Dynamite TBS, it's on TBS tonight. Don't want to check it out. Make sure you pre-list your recordings if you DVR it. You could also watch the highlights on YouTube, I believe. But I don't see there shouldn't be a reason why you would miss. Like, there would be a reason why I would have missed Raw back on Monday. There's a reason why I would not watch SmackDown on Friday night, but there's no reason why we should be missing AEW Dynamite tonight, especially with how built that card is. I mean, it's stacked. So we're going to step away one last time. When we come back, we'll wrap up our show. We'll get everything going squared away right here on the J Trey Podcast.
can't snake me. Ray gun off safety. My girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world. She want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going, I keep it factual. I'm on sabbatical. I'm out in Central America. I need a break from hysteria. Park like the one with the carousel. I get it lit in your area. I'm locked to the vision, it couldn't be clear. You couldn't pay me to
Alrighty. Well, we have came up to 2 hours coming up here in just a few minutes. Gosh, tomorrow, hopefully much better. Ooh, moving that studio around. There we go. Yeah, listen, this is we're not. Please don't get used to this whole knockoff. Let's just find some things to go in there. I will tell you is that, yeah, there's some times and there's moments where I would say, yeah, doing a show by myself is fantastic. But sometimes, like I said, I personally prepared myself for a 2-hour show with Jake. It happens. I'm not, we're not complaining about what's going on and what happens. You got to take care of yourself first. You just got me. You got my pretty face for 2 hours, and I'm telling you, it's a little struggling because here's the way I saw it. I mean, I saw the day one pay-per-view. I watched football. I watched a few matches of Raw on Monday. I watched Monday Night Football. I watched the main event for NXT 2.0 last night. And that's pretty much it. So if I wanted to talk to you about the triple threat match between Mandy Rose, Corey Jade, and Raquel Gonzalez, I can't talk to you about that because I haven't watched the match. I can't disclose that. But and then I can't talk to you about Wrestle Kingdom because I haven't watched it. I don't know nothing about it. But I know Jake wanted to mention that up. And a lot of my designs is to get a conversation going with somebody else. So I appreciate you guys sticking with us. With you guys bearing with me throughout this 2 hours. I know it's not the greatest. Hopefully everyone returns back tomorrow and we could have ourselves a good show tomorrow. I know that if Jake can't be on the show tomorrow, and that's fine if he's not able to, I will probably be more prepared. Let me say that at the least. Coming up later on this week, something just to keep in mind of, we're back tomorrow and Friday from 10 a.m. to noon, as long as computers doesn't give us the delay. That's why we're staying 15 minutes extra past the noon time because of that. But we will be back from 10 to noon on Thursday and Friday. We will be back on Saturday and Sunday from 10 p.m. to midnight. Now, listen, I get it. These are not the ideal time slots that most people could tune in. Like, for example, I appreciate Steve from Armchair Booking able to tune in to our show, and he's able, I know he's working and he's doing, what he has to do, but he's taking time out of his day at least to listen to us and give us that support and give us that audience. So I appreciate what he does, and I'm excited to listen to that one-on-one that interview that Sinclair and Noah is going to have today. And you hear, I don't know if you guys hear that siren in the background, but that is our weather alert siren when it comes down to the first Wednesday of every month, because where I live at, there is we're in severe weather areas where if that siren goes off, hey, better take care of yourself. So I don't know if you guys hear that siren in the background, but basically they do the testing the first Wednesday of every month for like 2 or 3 minutes, the way they set off that siren, just to test it out. So nothing serious. But as I was saying though, we will be Trey and I is actually headed out to Cavalcade this Sunday. Now, if you guys aren't aware of Cavalcade, Cavalcade is a car convention in Cincinnati at the Duke Energy Center, and it's like $20. You get your tickets out at O'Reilly's Auto Parts, but we're going Sunday specifically because Bryan Danielson will be doing a meet and greet. And Trey's talked to me about what's going on and what happens. And I was like, okay, well, and first of all, I like car convention. He says, oh yeah, we're gonna go meet. We've met in Sting, AJ Styles, so many other wrestlers in the years past, and he's big about the whole WWE, about the autographs and about the meet and greets. That's what got us into NWF. We went out to the 27th of November and got to watch the Monster Abyss be inducted into the NWF's Hall of Fame back on the 27th of November last year. So that's our intent to go see Bryan Danielson, get a signed autograph, something to update with our board with as well. Also gonna head out to I know that there's an event in Mount Orab this Saturday for NWF. We're not attending, but we will be down at the Hit Sports Complex next Saturday night. So I don't know. So that's the other thing. We're gonna be at a venue probably past the time that we're supposed to go on. So I don't know. I'll have to get with Trey and Jake, and maybe we'll do a show earlier in the day, 1 to 3, 2 to 4, something like that, just so that we are still keeping up. But then here's kind of our next first big event or coming to, because the Royal Rumble is coming up on the 29th, if I'm not mistaken. It's a Saturday. It's the last Saturday of January. I'm giving you guys so much wrong information. Yeah, the 29th of January. That is going to be the Royal Rumble. Now, we've already had one match. Besides the men's Royal Rumble, we've already had one match confirmed. Now, that's Bobby Lashley taking on Big Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. But obviously that when it comes down to big pay-per-views, we don't want to interfere with the pay-per-view. We're watching the pay-per-view. We're excited for the pay-per-view. So we don't want if that pay-per-view, especially in the Royal Rumble match, it's going to most likely go over 10 o'clock. So instead of having a show from 10 to midnight, we may come on earlier, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, something like that, and do our show. Maybe instead of actually doing a regular show, we give you guys our predictions, right, on who we think are gonna win. And there's gonna be but we have some fun stuff also planned, because at the end of the month, okay, that Monday after the Royal Rumble, we are going to meet. Trey and I are headed out to Monday Night Raw. Now, we got our tickets probably like 2 months ago, but we actually went, and we weren't actually planning on going back to Monday Night Raw because Raw came into town back in September in Cincinnati. And so we're actually going to be attending that Raw as well. So we're excited to be able to attend that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm very excited and enthusiastic to attend that Monday Night Raw, because if you look at what's going on in WWE right now, we talked about earlier today, and I'm wanting to get more into this with the other guys, but we talked about the impact that Brock Lesnar, how this changes the playing field. Remember, prior to this, Brock Lesnar entering that Fatal 4-Way match, everything was kind of more focused on SmackDown. I still think that Raw was kind of an abstract to what SmackDown was providing with all the top names. You had Brock, you had Roman, all this and that. Raw has now elevated themselves because of Brock Lesnar. And with Brock Lesnar having the championship match. Now this door of opportunity for a great WrestleMania venue. Consider, hey, there's 2 nights of WrestleMania, and Vince McMahon wants to sell out both nights. You got to really put on some unpredictable matches that fans are going to want to tune in and come to. And how are you going to do that? Well, this is one way. Brock Lesnar having that championship match on night 1. Maybe, we talked about possibility with Bobby Lashley. Now, I know that they have a match coming up at the Rumble, but maybe. Or what about Roman Reigns? If it's Bobby and it's Brock at the Rumble or at Mania, that's night 1. People will watch that night. Okay, they will also pay to go watch that fight. People, you think about it, why was day 1 pay-per-view sold out? Was it really because Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns was supposed to have a match? You're telling me if the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar match was not on the table, would it still be sold out? I don't think so. So if you got Brock Lesnar advertised for night 1, what leaves you is Roman Reigns for night 2. Now, I mean, you got the Rumble match. Now, I believe that right now where it stands, whoever wins the Rumble is going to go after Roman Reigns. We know that currently right now, Drew McIntyre is out of the picture because he's dealing with a neck injury. Maybe he'll be back in 1 month's time before the Rumble because the Rumble is 4 weeks from this Saturday. Or, I mean, I know that the conversations are, some people talk about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson returning. I don't know if that's going to lead to the Rumble. I don't know. That's something that people would have to find out, right, and tune in and watch it. But is it going to get me to watch the Rumble? Yeah, absolutely. Am I intrigued about Johnny Knoxville joining the Rumble? No, but is it typical for WWE to kind of throw in celebrities and people that don't belong? Of course. So we've already had, I know Dominic and Ray has already signed up for the Rumble as well. I know both the Street Profits have signed up for the Royal Rumble. So people are starting to sign themselves up for the Rumble. I could assume that maybe Sami Zayn's going to put himself in there, Happy Corbin. I don't know if Mudcap's going to be available with after breaking. Maybe Mudcat Moss will be there. I don't know if Rich Holland's going to be available after his nose injury back on Saturday. I could only assume Ricochet and Cesaro as long as Sheamus. So people are going to start filling in those names. That name list is going to get longer and longer and longer to tune into that. So, but, this is a fun time. We told you back on Sunday that this is going to be a big, impactful week in the world of wrestling, and it sure has. We have day 1. We had a decent Monday Night Raw. We've had a decent NXT 2.0. We're looking to have a great AEW Dynamite first time on TBS. Then don't forget Impact tomorrow night, which I'm in and out of that. SmackDown, and then Rampage on Saturday. Don't forget Wrestle Kingdom that's been going on. Night 2 is tonight. Don't know how you guys can stream that. If you guys could, you guys know, let me know down below. So we got a lot of fun things, a lot of great things to get going for this week. Very impactful week for us. It's only day 1. It's only our Monday. Like I said, if you guys are working Monday through Friday, you guys have yourself, it's Humpback Wednesday. We will be back tomorrow, Throwback Thursdays, to start off day 2. Hopefully Jake is back with us then. And hopefully it will be a much better show. So I apologize for the intermediate content that is provided for you today. Kind of been on and off. Trying to fill in the 2 hours worth of content. Sometimes these stories don't go as long as you maybe hope or plan for them to go. So also, I'm also excited tonight. Don't forget, check out Armchair Booking Podcast. They are available on YouTube at Armchair Booking. They're also available on social media at Armchair Booking, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. They will have Noah Gabriel and Sinclair Octavius Bentley with the interview tonight. They will also be back again tomorrow with another stream, just the regular streaming services that they provide. So tune in to them as well. All right. So that leads up our first episode of this week. You guys, don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe button wherever you guys are tuning in from. If you guys want to check us out on social media, at TNC Sports Talk, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well. We wish everyone a happy Thursday, and we will see you guys tomorrow. You guys take care.